exist. Or isn't given. It's built. Every component, every detail, engineered without compromise. This is not just a gaming PC. This is a Titan. Built to dominate. Built to last. Built for legends. Tonight, we're gonna build a Titan. How about that? Y'all ready for this? Welcome back to the Build Show. Yes, Roy. Welcome back to the Build Show. Thank you for jumping on that. Tonight we're going to be building a legend for somebody who was brave enough to go to the website, choose the Titan, and check out. Especially with today's prices, it's absolutely insanely expensive to build this rig. And just want to shout out to Mr. Logan, who chose the Titan. How are we doing? Dark Donator. I know we're kind of like an epic scene moment, but he has a question. I really like how AIOs look, but I have a Ryzen 5 5500. Should I get an AIO? You absolutely do not need an AIO to run a Ryzen 5 5500. That is a very low wattage processor. It is not going to ever get hot enough to even justify having an AIO. But that doesn't mean you don't or can't have one. You'd be just fine just running a 4 heat pipe tower air cooler, such as the Thermalright Assassin X120, which is about an $18, $19 cooler on Amazon. That's all you would need for that processor. The benefit of putting the AIO in there would be to future-proof the system, so if you upgrade to a bigger processor, you can very easily upgrade. All right. Hopefully I catch this before it switches. Oh, I'm like a boss. So I'm shuffling the music at this given moment. Please wait. There we go. Much better. Happy Friday! Killa! Welcome back to the Build Show over there on the Twitch and over on the Kick side. Mike, are you flooded? No, I'm not flooded, actually. We are quite dry here at the moment. Hey, Logan. Welcome to the Build Show. Wow, 5090 baller. Yeah, this is the legend. Mike says, good news. What's up? Oyster 6K build? No, go higher. Go higher. I mean, there's a price tag on that GPU, and that's not what we paid for it. Heard you guys are about to get slammed by a thunderstorm. Well, hopefully we stay powered. I actually didn't check the radar or anything, so I have no idea. I mean, the graphics card alone is like a 4,000 plus. What's up, Onara? Welcome back to the Build Show. I know. We're building the 5090 build tonight, the Titan. This is the Titan with some modifications. We had some modifications. that RAM on these days? Yeah, I know, right? Is Logan a celebrity or something? Well, he's here in the chat. You can ask him yourself. Or oil owner of an oil company, maybe? Yes, we're dancing, killer. But this, tonight we're going to be building the Titan, which is one of our biggest available pre-built options on the website. So I have done a few of these on the stream before, so you've seen it. We have done a couple of modifications to the build per Logan's requests, which is generally we would have the Hydro Shift 2 Lian Li AIO cooler, but we are going to change that out for the Panorama SE by Trix, which is a cool looking cooler with the screen on the cooler or on the block. Got that 6.5 inch L screen, L-shaped screen. So really cool look for the build, actually. I think we're stuck on repeat. I might have accidentally left that on repeat. Bear with me. I did. So we're going to skip that song because we already listened to it. There's no point of listening to it again. That's kind of dumb. Anyway. Logan says he's a stay-at-home father. Ah. That is a good position to be in. I actually wish I was that. I could buy, Oyster has says I could buy a spec'd out MacBook Pro for cheaper. Oh yeah, I know. Probably without a 5090. Who's this build for? This is for Logan, who's in the chat there. Hey Zaz, what's up? Zazuk. Say Sook. Say Sook. Say Sook. Strongest Chilla. Not for everyone. Yeah, well, I mean, I think I could do a good job at it too. I have 3 girls. I have a 13-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. Phoenix are a great biz. Oh, Roy. Oh, boy. Welcome to the club, man. Yes, welcome to the Empower family. You'll be meeting pretty much everybody here in chat. We also have the Discord server if you haven't joined it already, Logan, which is !Discord in the chat to receive the link to the Discord channel. Great place to hang out. Lots of people, cool people there. People play games. You might even see me play games in there every now and then. Nice. You have 1 boy, 2 girls, 6, 4, and 1. Yes. And we have a little bit of a wider spread between the first and the second. I don't know why that really, it's just how it ended up working out, I guess. I don't really question it. Go with the flow. Let's see if Streamlabs is working. It should be pumping out a link right now for the Discord command. Is it working, guys? Not working? Oh boy. Well, let's go take a look at that real quick. Oh. It is not working. Uno a momento. Sorry, guys. Let me turn it on. For some reason, it's off on Twitch and YouTube. No idea why that happens. Give it a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. Should be working now. Please don't tell me I have to restart the stream. There it is. Okay. Resolved. Yep, we got the link, sorry. I don't know why, but the cloud bot decided to go take a nap, and I had to go wake it up. Ben, did you ever notice if you had a i9 box with the... Oh, actually, sorry, Roy, I forgot to look. You looking for 12th gen? Which i9 are you looking for specifically? We might have an Avalanche. 12th, okay. I've got Intel Core. Let me throw myself over here. Out of the way, dude. We got a Intel L9 Ultra. Oh yeah, these are his trimmers too. Forgot about those. I'm like 99. I have a 14th generation. I've got millions of boxes. Hold on, guys. On, man. You look good. I see one. Got to move all these AMD boxes out of the way. Oh, yeah. And it's gold. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, yes, Roy, I do have this box. It is a 12th gen i9 with cobwebs and everything. Yeah. Been sitting on a shelf for a while. But, ugh. I'm gonna have to go wash my hands. Anyway, I do have it, and it's gold. A little dusty, but it's here. What do you need it for? You'll message me after the stream. I'd like to get it for display purposes. Send me the cost of shipping. I don't know, it's probably like 12 bucks to ship this box intact. Probably like 12 bucks. Okay. Randomly still have that box. Have no idea why I have it, but I do. I'll message you after. Okay, and then okay. Dark Donator, but an AIO looks so cool. Couldn't I get like 120 millimeter AIO and be fine? I would actually not even bother with 120 millimeter AIO, because if you ever upgrade the CPU in your system, the 120 AIO just is trash. You're better off with an air cooler at that point. So if you're going to get an AIO, get the 240 millimeter at least. Do not even bother with the 120. Just don't even. As far as I know, Ryzen 5 and i5 CPU from Intel and AMD are not power thirsty. No, they are not. They're very efficient processors, so they don't draw a lot of power, which means they don't create a lot of heat. I'm pathetic. I'm empathic. Logan is awesome along with his wife, my daughter. They are both serious gamers. Oh, nice. Oh, so you must be father-in-law. Had to do the math there. If anybody was watching me calculate that. It's a little slow. Not really. No, I'm happy for you, Logan. Awesome. Thanks, just me. Okay, so we're pretty much caught up in the chat, guys. So, this is the Titan, as we were going through, and rudely interrupted by Roy, who messaged me like 2 days ago about this box that I forgot about. It's my fault. I meant to go look for it. I'm just kidding, by the way. I'm joking. But we're going to go through the parts here, and then we're going to start the build process. If anybody does have any questions during any point of the build, feel free to ask. That's what I'm here for. If anybody has questions, even unrelated to this PC that we're building, you're more than welcome to ask questions. But we're going to start with the processor, which is the AMD Ryzen 9 9950X 3D. So this is one of the best AM5 processors you could buy today. It has the most core count and thread count available on a AM5 processor currently for this socket today. So it is the best of the best at that point for this socket. The motherboard that we're going with is the X870E Aorus Elite X3D. That's a little tongue twister, I know, but it's a Gigabyte branded motherboard. It's an excellent board for this type of CPU. The chipset is one of the best chipsets you can run, and this particular board does a really good job with this CPU and the RAM, and it also has a lot of additional features on the board, which makes future upgrading upgrades, though there's not much to really upgrade outside of RAM and storage at this point. But it makes future upgrades easier, and also has a ton of USB options on the back, so really you're not limited to like, oh, you have 4 USB connections on the back, so you don't have that problem. Next is our RAM, which we have 64 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 megahertz CL30. I know we're a little slower on the megahertz and good on the timing, and the reason why I do that is 6000 is kind of a sweet spot for AMD for this chipset and this particular CPU platform, kind of the sweet spot. So 6000 is kind of what I target, as well as the CL30. If I can find CL28 or even lower, I will try to get that. But right now, with the prices of everything, CL30 is a really good spot to be. Anything at CL30 or lower is really good. You could get away with obviously running CL36 or 38, but then you start seeing a little bit of a performance drop off in games. So, and we're talking like single digit FPS here, but this is the Titan. We try to have zero compromise when it comes to performance, which leads to next, the boot drive. We have 2 SSDs for this build. The boot drive that we're going to be building with is a Crucial T710. This is a Gen 5 NVMe SSD M.2. Has a 14,500 read, and I believe the write is really close to it. So it's a very fast M.2. It's actually very close to the performance of a Samsung 9100 Pro, but those are about $200 more than this. So it didn't really make sense to put that in there. It's the same performance, same warranty, really close to the same performance. And then we have a Gen 4 drive for the data drive, which is another 4 terabyte Gen 4 drive by Team Group, which is an MP44. These are originally what we started out with the Titan series, but we've since then converted the C drive to a Gen 5 drive and the data drive to a Gen 4, because you really don't need Gen 5 speeds, and a lot of motherboards only have one Gen 5 slot. So you're limited to that based on the platform and where the tech is at right now. So most boards only have one Gen 5 M.2 slot, and some of which will have shared bandwidth with the graphics card, which is another reason why I try to go for this board over one of the other ones, because it doesn't have the bandwidth sharing on the slots. So next, we're going to be cooling the CPU with the 360mm ARGB Panorama by Trix cooler. It's got, like we briefly talked about earlier, 6.5-inch screen, the L-shaped screen, which is rotatable, so you could actually reposition it if you wanted to, but we'll position it in such a way so that you can see it on the front and the side glass panel. And then next, we have our streamers that we added. This was another addition by Logan, requested. He originally wanted purple and black cables. Then we got in a call and we talked about the build that he ordered and found out he was really looking for the streamers, so we did add these instead of the purple and black, which I do actually have. I do have the purple and black. These are the extensions, and I also have another cable still on the way. So I do have a set of purple and black cables, if anybody needs them, because we're not going to use them in the build now. We are going to go with the streamers. And then these fans here are actually to replace the fans on the cooler, because we wanted the matching fans throughout the build. Next is we do have a contact frame. Supposed to be over here. Whoops. The Thermalright AM5 contact frame for the CPU, and we're going to be using the Cryonaut Extreme thermal paste for the CPU cooler. We also have a GB002, which is a Lian Li support bracket, kind of hidden in the back behind the card, so it supports it mounted kind of on the motherboard. It's unique, and I recommend those. They're super easy to install and super easy to super nice, because they kind of hide, they don't stand out. So and then you of course are supporting your graphics card, which is definitely what you want to do with a card of this size, like a 5090 or 5080 or even a 5070 Ti or 5070. Those are really heavy cards, and you still want to put some support on it. In some cases, a 5060 and 5060 Ti will have some weight or extension, especially the triple fan cards, and you might even want to consider that. These are only 12 bucks, and I highly recommend them. So if you don't have one and you see your card sagging, which looks like, you know, it's going downwards towards the front of the PC, then you definitely want to pick up some sort of support bracket and support your card. And that is exactly what we're doing with that. The Aorus Masters GeForce RTX 5090 by Gigabyte is what we're going to be running today. This is a out of the factory overclocked edition. I know we're getting really excited about the 5090, but okay. I don't know if you guys just heard that or not, but holy smokes. Anyway, the 5090, fantastic card. It's got the 32 gigs of GDDR7. I believe it's a 512-bit, if I remember correctly, off the top of my head. PCIe 5.0 Gen 5 card. And then we're going to be powering the entire system with a Seasonic, always trusted brand, Seasonic Vertex GX 1200. So this is an 80 plus gold 1200 watt power supply that has the ATX 3.0 and PCIe 5.1 ready. And right on the box, they talk about their 12-year warranty, and that's because it is an extremely quality power supply. If there was any, I don't trust any other brand more than I trust Seasonic when it comes to power supplies and their quality. So something like this caliber of a build is always going to have a Seasonic power supply when it comes from me. I've only ever had one Seasonic power supply go bad, and it was actually because it lived in Texas, and specifically in the area in Texas where it lived, it was very dusty. So the dust got into the power supply, and it's very fine dust, and it eventually killed it. So that is the only reason why I've ever had one fail. Anyway, next is the case, or last but not least, the case, which is the Lian Li 011 Dynamic Evo RGB. And I specifically got the one with and this is the first time I'm actually using this, with the pre-installed SL Uni SL Infinity fans from Lian Li. So they're all Lian Li fans. They're already pre-installed. It's going to save me some time when I assemble it. And it actually is a little bit cheaper to do it that way. I think it's like $20 cheaper. But if you're getting a Lian Li 011 dynamic case and you're getting those fans, you may as well just buy that, which is a pre-installed setup, which is really nice. So, without further ado, it is time to assemble the Titan. That was a weird echo. All right. Catch up on the chat and then we'll start. It is Logan's build, Tony. And welcome back to the Build Show, Tony. Tyler. He invited the whole family. Nice. Welcome to the Build Show family of Logan. I don't know if I've missed anybody. I'm sure there's quite a few new people in here. Logan says, I used Seasonic in my last build, had it for 10 years with no issues. Yeah, it's definitely a very trusted brand. Thanks. I've noticed up in that corner. Yes. Hey. All right. If he comes back, definitely a bot. Who's the bot? Seasonic Goat. Yes. Cat nerds. Welcome back to the Build Show. Hey, what's up, some giant idiot? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. No, I don't think there's any problem unless it falls off the truck and down the hill. Or down the mountain. Logan was saying this will be shipping to a high altitude. Is there any problem with that? Nah, it should be fine. We'll pack it, so when we ship these, especially with the 5090, we actually uninstall the graphics card, so you will get the PC with the card super wrapped inside the case. That way there is no chance that the PCI slot or the slot on the card there's no chance of that getting damaged because of the weight of the card. Even if we put packaging in there, I don't want to chance a $4,000 card getting damaged. I'd rather have it arrive and have a little bit of assembly, which we can walk you through if you need assistance, of course. It's what we're here for, and put that card in, and that way it shows up pretty much without any issues at that point. That's the only thing that ever really gets damaged when you ship a gaming PC is the graphics card or the PCIe slot on the motherboard, and that's because of the weight of the card. And doesn't matter how much support you put on there, somehow it finds a way to wiggle and bounce, and it shouldn't. We don't want that. No, the lights dim on the RTX Pro 6000, do they? Hidden Bull, did the lights dim when you placed the order? The power actually went out here. It was kind of weird. It was like the day he placed the order, we actually lost power, which was kind of strange. All right, so I know we're just stalling at this point. Let's get started. We are going to remove some of these components out of the way. We won't be using them quite yet. Remember. All right, so we're going to get started with these particular components, which is your motherboard, your CPU, your RAM, your contact frame, and the SSDs. We're going to get that mounted on the board, and then we'll get the mounting brackets for the cooler, get that mounted on the board, and then we'll place the board in the case and go from there. So let's get started. And all of this material that comes with the components, they'll be shipped with the PC, including your cool-looking Aurora stickers, the manuals, and anything else that's in here. Everything gets shipped with the PC. The only thing that doesn't get shipped is the boxes. Unless you want me to ship you the box, I can ship you a box. I actually just noticed that we're a little crooked. Probably when I was bouncing the camera while searching for that box. Oh yeah. We can zoom right in there, guys. How close you want to get? There you go. A nice close-up. What is it? This is the Gigabyte X870E Aorus Elite X3D. The beast, the titan, the one and only. Finally, my PC will no longer have ghosting on the last card in Solitaire. Oh, jeez. Solitaire with a 50... I hope you didn't buy a Titan just to play Solitaire. I mean, if it makes you happy. Alright. So, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Ryzen 9 9950X3D. We're going to break this out of the box and get this installed. It's actually... Hello! Hey, what's up, Steve Anderson? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. You bought a new cooler. It was only $20. Had great reviews, so... What cooler did you get? Really bad time to have shaky hands. All right, so next we're going to leave this open, and we're going to install a Thermalright AM5 contact frame and remove the stock frame here. My T20. Hello, Mr. T20. Where did you go? Where are you, Mr. T20? Oh. Oh. Or what I did with it. There you are. I was hiding. So out with the old and in with the new. Let's see here, chat nerds. Ben, do you need a precision, LLT precision set? I don't know. What is that? What's a precision set? Ben has a drop penalty when building a PC. Do I have a drop? Or Ben has dropped plenty. Oh, have I? That was a little bit of a tight fit. Not used to that. You'll send me one. Ooh. Ben, you made me think I had a typo error. Come on, man. Well, it's just me, man. I'm reading. I got my readers on. I'm looking down here. I'm looking up here. I've got 14 different chat boxes to read. I'm trying. What do you want from me? You know, it'd be really funny if I finish this build and it doesn't post. That'd be really funny. I just jinxed myself, didn't I? I was just thinking of that. Like, I feel like every time we build a Titan, something is jacked up. And it's not my fault. Usually, like, last year when I was building a Titan, it was the 4090 that was a problem. Ant-Man, what's up? Where you been? Right here. We had... How, though? Drop the CPU in the side... Did I drop it in sideways? Wait, what's going on? I missed a conversation here. Logan says, my shaky hands is one of the reasons you are... And here I am with shaky hands. Logan, isn't that funny? Steve Anderson, I had never heard of them till now, but I brought down my temps by 14 Celsius. CalMax. I've never heard of that brand either. CalMax CPU cooler, it brought the temps down by 14 Celsius. Yeah, I've never heard of that brand, Steve. Making me a little scared. It's okay. It's okay. We'll get it. We'll get it right. We always do. Don't listen to the guys in the chat. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Most of these guys have only ever seen me build one PC, right? Maybe they've never seen me. A lot of these are new faces. Okay, so now that we have the CPU installed, hoping that it tries to refocus. Thank you. Thank you. That's all we needed. Now that we have the CPU installed and our contact frame, we can go ahead and install our RAM, which we are going to be installing the Cleave. This is the Quaz 5 RGB. 6000 CL30, 64 gigs. That's two 32 gig sticks total. Super expensive stuff, by the way, guys. I think this kit was almost $1,000. I cannot wait for the day, because that's the only reason why I haven't gotten a new build put together, is because of storage and RAM. Makes me cry on the inside. So realistically, Logan, what game are you actually going to play? And don't tell me Solitaire. Steve, what a job. My job used to be roofing for a living. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a tough job. Very labor intensive. I thought the wiggle was only something I did. It's awesome. You do it too. Oh, me? What are we talking about? What wiggle? Did I wiggle? I didn't mean to if I did. Okay, so now we're down to the storage, which, if we're going to install storage, we have a PCIe Gen 5 drive, and maybe chat nerd talking to you. We want to double verify that we can put it in the top slot and it's not going to impact our PCIe 16 bandwidth. That's our goal, is to install the Gen 5 drive without impacting our graphics card slot. So I'm gonna go look this up and double verify before I install these drives. But we have a T710 by Crucial, which is a Gen 5 4TB drive, and then we also have a additional Gen 4 MP44 4TB drive. So we have a total of 8 terabytes for the system between the two drives. And no, we're not going to do any type of RAID setup. It is going to be a boot drive and a data drive. So, I mean, I guess we want the CPU if we could do it without impacting the bandwidth on the GPU. Hey, what's up, King? Over there on the Twitch side. Welcome to the build show, sir. I'm gonna go take a look too. I know you're looking. Okay, so what I've gathered here is that we could put the MP44 in the M2C SB or M2D SB PCIe M.2 slot. And the Gen 5 drive, the Crucial drive, can go in the M2A CPU. Does that sound about right? Have I forgotten? No. What did I forget? That is correct. It seems correct. So let's do it. Oyster also confirms. All right, so let's do that. This is our M2A CPU. So we just want to be careful because some slots share bandwidth. There's actually one of the slots in here that share bandwidth with the USB control. Yeah, with the USB connection. So we don't want to do that if we can avoid it. So the Crucial is going to go in the M2A. And if you're referring to, did I forget about this placement thing? I don't really build with this board very often, and every board has a little bit of a different configuration, so I always like to just double verify. I could look probably ahead of time in the future, but this is more exciting. I'm only human, after all. Do 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 do. There's the Gen 5 drive installed. Next up is our Gen 4, which we're going to be putting in the M2C or M2D slot, utilizing the South Bridge. Oh, this is fancy, guys. We got a little clippy-doo here right by my head. And it's magnetic over here. Super fancy. All right, so yeah. Which one of these is which? I love how it's like labeled way over here. Like labeled right here. we want? M2C or M2D? So this is B, C. The X3D-D2 is not worth it. What are you talking about? Hidden says PCI 16 slot that shares bandwidth with the M2D CPU connector. The M16 slot operating up to 8x mode when a device is installed at M.2D. Where'd you read that? Hold on a second. Okay, we're over here at the desk. Excuse me. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. The M2B is the one that's going to be sharing bandwidth. But the M.2, the M2C and M2D integrated in the chipset supporting socket 3 doesn't say anything about sharing bandwidth. Where did we read that? Oh, you're on the wrong one. I pulled up the Aorus Master. Gotcha. Here's the Aorus Master graphics card. So the slot that we want to avoid is the M2B, because that's one that's going to be sharing bandwidth with something else, not the PCIe slot. The only concerning thing that I had here was the PCI 16 slot, which is integrated to the CPU, can only support a graphics card or an NVMe. If only one graphics card is to be installed, be sure to install it in the PCIe 16 slot, which is what we're doing. So, I don't know why it calls out or an NVMe SSD. Maybe I guess you can install a card that will utilize the slot as an M.2. But that's what I was working with. Just for clarification. All right. So we're going to go with the M.2D slot is where we're going to drop this in at. And of course, you know, once we fire it up and I get Windows installed and we start testing, that's one thing that I will check is verify that the graphics card is running at PCIe 5 full 16, not 8. So that's part of the battle testing phase, is to confirm that. Because we obviously don't want that. And if the configuration is wrong for some reason, I will fix it before it ships. Usually I get it right the first time. And Logan's over there like, oh gosh, this guy's building my PC. Well, the problem is that all boards are different, as we just saw. Hidden Bull actually, you know, posted a slightly different model, has slightly different results. So that's what makes it difficult sometimes. That's why I always try to check. Kind of a reminder for anybody that is building their PC to keep that in mind when they're installing their drives, that some of the M.2 slots might be sharing bandwidth with something else. Keep that in mind. Okay, so that wonderful Thanks, Fritz. Should be ready to install this in the case after we get our brackets installed here for the cooler. We're breaking it out. The Panorama Trix SE, and we're going to get the hardware out for the socket brackets thing, thingamabopper thing. Does Gen 5 also work in slot C and D? No, I believe those were only Gen 4s. So the only other slot that supported Gen 5 was B, but then you start sharing bandwidth with other stuff. So very limited when it comes to Gen 5 SSDs, unfortunately, which is why we only got one. Or I would have done both Gen 5. It just doesn't make any sense to do that if it's not even going to be able to run Gen 5 speeds, or it's going to be sharing bandwidth, etc. May as well just run the Gen 4 at that point. Ooh, fancy. Sorry, we're going to cover that up for just a brief moment. Sure. We can get this out as well. There's a curved canvas for imagination in the box. Have a cool box. And it's gone. All right, so get our brackets for AMD. Pretty sure we utilize the backplate with some funky studs. Here we go. There they are. Couple of funky monkeys. Springs and screws and etc., etc. Get in there, you. You foul beast. Get in there. Okay. So I'm 99.9% sure we just reused the screws from the stock brackets that come with the motherboard. There we go. So now our brackets are installed and we're ready to receive the cooler when we get to that point. But I like to do that outside of the case because sometimes it's a pain to do it when it's in there. We have our Cryonaut Extreme Thermal Paste when we're ready for that next step, which will be a minute. We won't get to that for a minute, so hang in there. But we are ready to get the case out, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and zoom out. Eh. That's probably good. Oh. Oh. Okay, that was heavy. Not gonna lie. Did say heavy on the box. All right. Here is our Lian Li 011 Dynamic with a cheat code, which is pre-installed fans. Thank you, Lian Li, for finally doing that. The pre-installed fans actually cuts down on a lot of things, such as time. Specifically, time it takes to build this thing. Back when we were installing the fans manually, it would add at least a good 45 minutes to the build. Now we don't have to do that. It is a beautiful thing. There's a lot of peels on these fans still. Hey, nerd, now you know why I was asking about this case. Now today, your son said he wants a 4090. Oh boy. Oh, 15 is a minor. Ooh, yeah. Well, I hope we're not talking about anything crazy here. Don't be talking about anything crazy, guys. Oh, King. No, I did not forget that I owe you a build. Blindfolded. I'm just not going to do a Titan build blindfolded. And it's not a full build. It is a limited set of time blindfolded. Sorry, I'm trying to get this peel out. Look at that. Please don't. It's been done before. Okay. Very serious. Why is this? What a pain in the butt. I'm trying to get these peels off the mirror finishes. Unfortunately, Lian Li installed them with the peels on, which makes it a big pain in the rear end to remove them. Okay. Got through that baking process, although we will have 3 more fans to deal with. We install the ones on the cooler. Now, look at that here in a bit. Now we could drop the motherboard. Gently place the motherboard. Align yourself. Then we'll get our hardware kit out. Get our mounting screws and mount this bad boy. GA South Beeman. I was lucky to have gamers. That board looks so amazing. The color scheme is just my style. Yeah, it's a nice board. I thought about going to the Masters, but I was like, X3D board. Okay, there we go. Got that installed. Next, we can do the front panel connectors, which is our front panel USB, audio, power button, etc. All of that needs to be plugged in their respective locations, which we have USB-C, USB 3 there. We also have a USB 3.0 option. Oh, you know what I forgot? I just realized. Thanks for reminding me, guys. The Lian Li GB002 bracket. I appreciate you guys reminding me. This guy, which needs to be installed there. So your brother's kids send back the... What? I have a 12th grader. You know what time it is? Oh yeah. Final Fantasy. My mom was the manager of 3 daycares. I was 12 to 27. Oh wow. Busy. Very busy. Okay. There we go. We got that. The towers installed. Installed. Oh, thank you for the follow over there on the Twitch side. Zero Galaxy. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the build show, sir. Alright, the bracket is ready for the GPU next. So that'll be part of the next step, or part of the GPU installation process. But those are in and ready to go. And that's what we needed. Alright, so now we can go to the front panel stuff. Oh. Which, as a reminder, we're doing USB-C, USB 3. We have ARGB for the hub that's included. USB looks like there, which I think is also going to be required for the hub. And then we have a PWM fan connection there as well at the bottom. That'll do. Okay. We kind of know where everything's at, right? Yeah. I got unplugged. Have another one of those, I think, laying around if we need it. One in that box. Don't typically like seeing. The cable got bent in shipping, I assume. No reason that would have been bent. No other reason why it would have been bent, anyway. This way. There. Come on. Come on, get in there. Come on, get in there. Assuming the way it bent. To go that way. Do not worry about the cable management yet. We'll get there eventually. No need to panic. I'm only panicking a little bit. Okay, so those are all the cables pushed through to the other side. We're going to flip it around, get everything connected. Hopefully everything stays put. We're gonna have to stand it up for this next portion. Come back. I feel like Oi! Are you pushing my buttons? You weak little bugger. Alright, so we were just connecting all of the lovely, super small, teeny tiny connections down. Pulled the cables through a little bit so they're hidden away. That is nice and clean down there. About as clean as it's going to get. Anyway, without having a board that's got all the connections on the other side. All right. What's up, Crust? Crust? Looks beautiful. Thank you, Logan. Yeah, it's coming together. It's coming together. It's starting to look like a Titan. OpenBox MSI Pro 870 from Newegg, and it works fine. Yeah, you could get away with some OpenBox stuff, but I don't like buying OpenBox boards, OpenBox memory, OpenBox storage, OpenBox power supplies. Those are like off limits always. Nah, you're fine updating the BIOS, Ant-Man. You'll be fine. I've had to do like a 2020, like a customer when I built his PC back in 2020. It came back finally right around earlier this year. And I had to do a BIOS update for him from 2020 all the way up to like 2026, and it was insane. You OpenBox, okay. Excuse me. You don't have flashback, it's the ASRock B550, you're fine. Just put the BIOS file for the ASRock board on the flash drive and put the flash drive in the back of the computer. Boot to the BIOS and go to the flash utility. I can't think of the name for ASRock right now, but it actually auto detects the file for you and then does the BIOS update. It's probably ASRock is probably one of the easier boards to do the update from the BIOS itself, because it searches for the file. I don't know why other manufacturers haven't done the same thing yet. Should I buy MSI Pro X870p or 7800X3D? You prefer? I mean, the 870p will be fine. Is Miss Empower a gamer? Kind of. She plays, I mean, I guess she's a gamer. She's more of a Nintendo player, though, so she likes the Switch. But when it comes to PC, she likes Sims 4. And Minecraft and stuff like that. Wish Amazon would take their boxes when they drop off. Yeah, seriously. I hear you, Tony. I hear you. Yo, I wouldn't get nothing but 10 gig lane motherboard. Miss Empower play... I actually don't know if she plays Pokopaya. Pokopaya? Have chronic problem, you know anything? Is B870p have chronic problem? I'm not aware of the MSI B870. I think maybe you meant X870p having any chronic problems. I'm not familiar with any chronic problems coming from that board, particular board or chipset. When are the next gen AMD chips coming out? Well, I think after AMD gets past this 10-year anniversary thing they're running, they'll and probably once Intel drops a new CPU again, AMD will come out and slam the door in Intel's face and say, but wait, we have new CPUs too. So it's always a marketing scheme to get in front of the competitor. The competitor drops their news, and then usually the better company or the bigger company or the leading company will drop the news after, right after. And that's to disrupt the ripple effect from Intel's announcements. AMD will do the same thing. I wouldn't say AMD is the better company. It's just right now the AMD is the more desired processors. Misspoke. I'm waiting for Roy to come out here with a swinging fist. Out of the bushes. Is it time to show the big guy? Oh, it's getting close to show the big guy. Referring to the 5090. NVIDIA does something, then AMD follows. Yeah, kind of, but AMD's kind of done chasing NVIDIA's GPU performance. So right now they're just targeted. They've got a bullseye on Intel. They're like, yep, as soon as Intel announces their new CPUs, we're going to drop our new lineup. So that's probably what will happen. I'm just guessing. It's an opinion. Should I buy AIM 5 upgrade kit? Is it worth it? What do you mean by upgrade kit? I don't know what you mean by upgrade kit. If you're going with a 7800X 3D on a MSI B or X870P, that would be AIM 5, so I don't understand what that means. The 5090 costs more than the rest of the entire build. Pretty much, nah, not really. With the 4TB drives and the 64 gigs of RAM, with the CPU and the motherboard, you're pretty close. Let's be real, AMD with Intel is the best build. AIM 5 Secure Kit. Oh, okay, the contact frame. You're talking about the contact frame. It doesn't make a significant difference when it comes to cooling on the AIM 5 platform. It's more effective on the Intel LGA sockets. But what is nice about the contact frame, especially the cheap one from Thermalright, which doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and it's really worth it, is the fact that it covers up the side of the CPU so that thermal paste can't seep down into the side here, and that makes it so that if you ever take the cooler off and replace the thermal paste, cleaning it, or take the CPU out and change out the CPU, the thermal paste won't be down the sides of the CPU stuck in the crevices. So that's one of the nice things of having a contact frame on AIM 5. Jalbi? Is it Jalbi? Or is it pronounced differently? I have a 5080, but sometimes wish I got the 5090 before the price spike. I mean, we all wish we had the 5090 before the price spike. We knew that this was going to happen. We would have all done it. Does the seal good enough for liquid metal? No. No, I would not trust it like that. I hate dealing with liquid metal, honestly. Yes, you get a performance boost out of it, but I hate it. Ben is the liquid metal king. No, I mean, it's the best performer. There's no doubt about that when it comes to pulling the heat off of it, but in comparison to thermal paste, it is the best, but it's dangerous. Don't screw around with liquid metal. My body hurts for working for PC parts. Mine too. I totally understand that. As long as... No, I won't go there. We won't go there. We won't go there. We're going to stay out of that woods. That forest we're going to stay out of. We're not going down that road. With the AIM 5 contact frame, do you just tighten the screws until they bottom out? Kind of. Gamers Nexus actually did a really good video about how to install one of these properly. And you basically start on each corner, and if you keep track of your turns, like half turn here, half turn there, half turn here, half turn there, and then you just cycle until it's bottomed out or tight, that's pretty much what you would do. But you try to get it as even as possible is the goal. You don't want to have like 3 turns here, 2 turns here, 1 turn here, and 4 turns here. It makes it very uneven, and it actually might have the opposite effect of what it's supposed to do, which is keep the CPU level so that it makes the best contact possible with the cooler. Do I build every Friday? Unfortunately, no, I don't build every Friday. It's kind of sporadic right now, unfortunately, and it's because it's really slow. We don't have a lot of people buying PCs, so I don't have a lot of content to stream. Last year we were building at least once, maybe even twice a week, every week, almost throughout the entire year, it felt like. We had a total of 130 builds last year. This year it is really slow. Slower than molasses, and it's mostly because the cost of everything is just outrageously expensive. Yeah, people don't know the terms of hand tight, wrist tight, but it's a feel. But watch that if you're worried about how tight. I would recommend going and watching the Gamers Nexus video that they used to cover an AM5 contact frame installation. They have a really good video there. You tighten it till it starts getting easier to turn, then turn it back off after. You could do that, yeah. Yeah, that's also an option, pending your style. Once again, body hurt for prices. Everything hurts when the prices are this high. Everything hurts. Those processors are powerful enough. It can thermal throttle with mild overclocking and 360 I. Yes, this is a high TDP processor. Might even consider undervolting this processor in the future at Logan, if thermals become a problem. But I mean, the cooler itself, the case, the airflow shouldn't ever be an issue. But if you're in a hot environment and you're getting high temps on the CPU, and it's not like an AC all the time, for example, might consider undervolting this processor. And a lot of times these guys like the undervolt and perform better with an undervolt. I do know a guy that can help you with that if you ever needed it. Yeah, there's really no need for liquid metal, Tony. I agree with you. I agree with that. I feel like we as gamers are getting done wrong. I agree with you. I agree. We're always the ones that keep to ourselves, and we tinker with our hardware, and we enjoy our hobby, and we're always the ones that are like getting destroyed because technology becomes this new thing that everybody must have, and then our prices skyrocket, and then we're sitting there with our hands in our pockets wondering, what we did to deserve this. Well, it's the cost of being a gamer. You can only watch Steve over at Gamers Nexus for about 2 minutes. I don't know. I think he's funny. I like his humor. Most videos that he posts, I laugh at least 15 times. These processors actually go faster when you undervolt, less heat, more boost clock. Yes, that is what I was getting at. Never undervolted before. It's becoming a more and more common thing with these heavier duty processors like this one, and like the 14900K, for example, or even the Core Ultra 9. They just they perform better with an undervolt, less throttle. Although you shouldn't experience throttle, at least for the first year. The thermal paste starts drying up, you might notice it. But like I said, if anything ever happens, just let me know. We'll figure it out. And I'm gonna test this PC without AC here in Michigan. We're hitting 70s right now. So, But anyway, all right, so let's move on to the next step. The next step, we're going to be installing the AIO into the top here, and one of the steps that we have to do that is actually replace the fans, because we want all the same fans throughout the entire system. Oh, per part of the change order request. So, tubes are going to be going in this way, and so we got our cables coming this way. So we got to go through the process of removing these fans and adding those fans. Yeah? Is Miss Empower going to play Armada? One of those. I have no idea. I think mostly she plays... What's the name of that game? I'm drawing a terrible blank right now. If only Miss Empower could get in the chat and answer these questions. I'm just kidding. Mrs. Empower. Hello, Master Chief was on sale. Our Master Chief? Master Chief was on sale. There are no games that can really put 100% load on the processor. Yeah, it's more so like if you're doing a render a long period of time, that's where it's going to tax this processor and really test the cooling capabilities of your coolers. But that is one of the tests. Halo. Oh, I thought you said hello. You did say hello. You typed hello. I get what you're saying now. Makes way more sense. But we are making some pretty good progress here. I mean, imagine me having to install all those fans, but me not having to do it. That was a nice touch. It was a little slick move I did. Only to install fans on the cooler. Good job, Ben. Good job. And I just realized we're going to need a USB splitter, because this has a USB header. The fans in the case have a USB header. This technically has a USB header, but we're going to try to get these fans plugged into the bottom hub. I'm pretty sure I can do it because it has one more slot. But we also have the streamers, which need a separate USB header. So we have a total of 2 USB headers on the motherboard, 2.0 headers. We need 3. So I do have a solution for that. It's a NZXT internal USB hub, which has 1, 2, 3, 4 USB headers that splits. And it will, this is one of the best ones you can buy on the market. A lot of the other ones are cheap and they fail all the time. These ones I found are the best. Even though I dislike NZXT as a brand, you just can't beat this this hub. And it is expensive. It's like a $30 hub, but worth it because it means it's not going to die. I don't know why I thought of that just now, but I did, and I'm just going to throw the cable in here while I have it, the ability to do so. I love how this is a brand new radiator, and there's defects on the radiator itself, and that was not caused by me, unfortunately. Just the world we live in. Quality is just thrown right out the window. Deal with that when we get it flipped around. Alright, so let's get our fans installed real quick. We'll get that plugged in. That'll be sitting there as a reminder. Deal with that shortly. Yeah. Okay, so with that installed, we are ready to put this AIO in the case. You would think company would have cold fans by now. Tony says, I love the design of the hub in my new build. I made things super easy. Oh, with the power supply? Are you talking about the power supply? Steve Anderson says, did you know about the M3 Max Studio? The graphics card in it puts the 5070 Ti to shame. I did not know. A radiator. Rebuilt like a car, basically. It's the same idea. Alright, so we're going to install this. But I am going to prep my screws so I don't sit there looking like an idiot. I go to install this. Although I do not like how small these screws are. Yeah, I just fell right through. That's down there. I love it. Hold on, I got more radiator screws. Those are super tiny. The heads on them are super small. If this is going to ship, I don't want it to bounce out. These will work. I think I have enough of them. Alright, we'll use these a little longer, but bigger head. I'm actually surprised the case doesn't include them. You know what I want to do here before I put this in? That will be fine. We are good. Actually. Try to center this up best I can there. The only other thing I could do is put washers on it, but if we get too tall here, then the top panel doesn't like to go on in this case. So we got to be careful about our height. I got more radiator screws somewhere. A little bit more width to the head. I might change it out later. We'll see. These will work. But I mean, there's like so many of them, it's not going to go anywhere. I'm just picky. I like to be picky. You're talking about the RGB hub? Okay. Gotcha. I thought you were talking about the USB hub. No, it actually doesn't. it includes these little dinky things, which are your radiator fans, which fall right through almost, well, I mean, it took a little finagle, right through the slot here. Because the Lian Li slots are actually wider than most other cases. So this would probably fit a Corsair case. But these particular screws from Trix have always been notoriously small. Anytime I put it in a Lian Li case, I always have to use a different screw. Yeah, the problem with the washer, though, is that it increases the height of the head of the screw, and then when you put this top panel on, it actually gets in the way. So, can't really do that. I want to avoid doing that, at least. No big deal. We got screws. One extra thing to do. Okay, so with that being installed nicely, we should probably push. Probably would have been smart to do ahead of time, but oh well. Here we are. That. Lay this down gently. Then we can install the block, so that's secured. We're going to wipe the paste off here, though. Thingamaboppers, just set this on. Because we're going to be using Thermal Grizzlies Cryonaut Extreme. Alright. Good to go. We are good to go. Hitting your best AIO is? I can't believe such a good-looking AIO sent you. Just tiny screws. What in the world? Yeah, that's the story of my life. Those are the small screws that they give you, and that's why I have extra screws and stuff for random things like that that'll come up. I've learned my lesson long, long ago. Alright, so this is Thermalright. I'm sorry, I keep saying Thermalright. I don't know why. Thermal Grizzlies Cryonaut Extreme thermal paste that we're going to be using. It's the pink stuff. Some of their best on the market. So this particular CPU, and that goes for any AIM-5 CPUs, the hot spot on the CPU is actually on the lower portion of it. If anybody was wondering. So I actually do put the extra dots on there with the X, but as soon as we put this on and clamp it down, it's going to spread out very evenly. In fact, this is probably a little bit too much paste, but I always like to go a little over, especially if we have the contact frame. It's not going to spill out anywhere. Just going to go on the contact frame. It's easy to clean, but I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough. But this ensures that it's going to have full coverage when we apply this block to it. Hmm. Let me get that out of my... Starting to wonder if they say to mount it like this. Hold on a second. Reference. I actually tell you to do it this way. We just might have to slide the cooler further back to free up a little bit of hose. Didn't really think the hoses were that short. So this is the right way to do it. I want to make sure. So the fans don't do any... What are you talking about? The pump is what matters the most. Yeah, the pump matters a lot because that's what's moving the liquid. The fans matter because that's what's going to be blowing the cool air onto your or through your radiator so that your liquid can cool. So the fans do matter, yes. Oops. Probably went a little too tight there on that one for now. Come on. These springs that you get bent separately, tied together. I actually don't know how far these go down on this particular cooler. Probably good enough. Yeah, that's pretty good. We're good. Alright, so my thought is we can either push the hoses up like that, or we have to loosen the radiator and slide it back further, because we want this to sit like that. The other option is to go down. But it does not want to fit. Not enough length. I prefer to go down. Maybe the answer is up. Looks funny. Let's move it. So what I'm going to do is loosen these, slide the radiator back further. I underestimated the length of the hoses. slide it back. That should give us just enough length there. I just don't like how it's not centered up. Picky Ben. Picky, picky, picky. Could actually go back even further if we wanted it to, but... no need to do that. So we can squeeze the hoses there if we need to, and then I think it looks better that this way. This is pretty much the standard that it would chip, or that it would go in. This guy with grout top here. What do you think? Hoses on the top or hoses on the bottom? We could even I might rotate it. I'm getting ultra picky here, guys. That is how they show to install it. Tubes on that side. Hoses up, air cat trap. Nah, I hear ya. That'd be my preference too. But I mean, I don't know, it just looks funny that way. It's tough to say. I mean, it's easy to move it, you saw me. And you'll actually have to install this, because this will be bubble wrap. This will be connected and plugged in and everything, so you'll have to put it on there. You could decide when you get it, bottom or top. Yeah? But, yeah, it's just tricky because of the hose length. These were just a little bit longer. Be a little easier. But, I mean, I could get a zip tie in here and tie them over here so that they're a little bit more out of the way. Not like in front of the screen. That's what I don't want them to be. As long as they're not like pushing on these or here, should be okay to do that. But I don't want it covering up our display here, and I don't want it covering up the display here in any way, because obviously that's what you paid for. You want the display. Radiator on the bottom is dope. So you want the radiator on the bottom of the PC? Somebody's being funny. Typically we don't put the radiator on the bottom. Alright. We'll leave it there and see what it looks like, and if we don't like it, I'll play around with it. I'm probably going to be playing around with it. Okay. So next is... I guess we can install the streamers, the EPS cables for the CPU power up here in the corner, and then we can get our graphics card out. I think that's it. Outside of installing the power supply and that hub. We're getting real close. Thank goodness I ordered the one with the controller. I just thought of that. Somehow I accidentally ordered the one with the controller. Without thinking. I probably thought about it, but I can't remember thinking about it. We got time to play around with stuff like this. You know? I want to see the big fat guy. Yeah, the 5090. You want? Is that what you're here for? I'm just here for the 5090. These are really fancy cables. Actually, apparently it plugs into the back. Interesting. No, I'm not going to put the 16 pin in yet. I'm just curious which was in the box. Somebody wants a streamer. Why not? Alright, let's get our EPS cables out of our power supply. Route those real quick. And then we'll get to dealing with some of the cables in the back. And installing our 5090. There. There's those. And we'll need the 24 pin. I think this is a 16 or a 8 pin PCIe on the side here, which we can add. Can't read it, it's too small, I'm too old. It says AP, I think that's just PCIe. Probably extra power for the PCIe slots. That would be my assumption. A lot of the Threadripper boards have extra PCIe power. And a lot of these X870 boards are starting to have this as well. We can install it, we will. Our 16-bit. Okay, we've got those installed. We do have some combs. Might add those later as well. But for the sake of time, because we've already been streaming for almost 2.5 hours, we're going to get this done. Yeah, I guess we can just drop a graphics card in now at this point. You guys ready for the big boy? Hey there, big boy. Silent with unicorn poop everywhere. I don't want to know what conversation I'm not reading. Pretty sure it's a 3-slot card. Pretty sure. Oh, before we do that, I'm glad I looked at this. We want this. That would have been awkward. Slow, please. Okay, we'll do it nice and slow. The case itself holds the box. So the box would not fit inside the case. Oh, yeah. That's if you want the extra fan. I'm ruining it. That is a beast. Yeah, I'd say the card alone weighs quite a bit. You too. What do you think? The PSU needs its own zip code. I'm happy with my trip. This thing is a beast. Alright. Now we get to install it. This thing's gonna get really heavy. Wow. Next is putting the GPU support bracket in place to support it. Also, nobody reminded me to go get that screw out of the fan. That fell down. That radiator screw, remember that one? So we're gonna have to retrieve that still. There we go. Support brackets in place. Might be a little tricky getting this card in here when you go to put it in. Oh, there it is. We got the screw. That's a beast. We're gonna have to rotate this cable. I hate Lian Li for doing this. So on this cable, you can really only install this one way with this card currently, and that is going underneath. We don't really want to do that. Excuse me, because it's going to block airflow to the card. How we really want to install this is up and over around the top of the card, so it's not impeding the airflow underneath the card. So we will have to take the time to rotate this cable around, which, if you guys seen me do it before, it's a pain in the butt, so bear with me. And it's also not perfect after we move it, but it is the direction that we want this installed. Oh, for crying out loud. Which Okay, almost done, guys. With the cable, that is. But if you need to rotate this cable, it is possible with the 90. They only sell them with the 90 on it. I know. Frustrating. Oh. Can't see how well that's seated. Okay, I think I got it in there pretty good. And just because this is slanted or bent in any way, it actually does not reflect the cable actually being bent or jostled in any way. This can move a little bit before it actually plays any give on the pins itself. So it's designed to be like that. So we got that in there facing the right way, thankfully. Liam Lee knows what they're doing, I know. It's always the wrong way with these cables. These trimmers are always facing the wrong way, and then I have to spend 15 minutes flipping one around. 1200 watt power supply? Nice. Yeah. Man up, bro. Stop being a chicken. Who? Who's being a chicken? Ugh. Bro, everyone's trimmer, whatever. Can't wait for this thing to turn on. I know, we're almost there, guys. We gotta put a power supply in and deal with a little bit of cable on the backside. And then we are good to fire it up, actually. Looks awesome. Good, I'm glad you like it. Now for the backside, which has turned into this massive rat's nest. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. We do. This is gonna have a lot of back and forth, guys. Be patient. So I figure out what I want to do here. I guess we want to get the power supply here and then deal with the rest of this after that. The aftermath. Boy, it got really quiet, guys, didn't it? Huh. Did we run out of music? Huh. Interesting. There we go. We are nearly done. A little too quiet. Yes, I agree. Ben, you know how people make the 5090 a big deal when it launched? Was it like that for the 4090? Yes. Yes, the 4090 was a big deal. 5090 was a bigger deal. And it just keeps going up and up and up. I say, what else you missing out on if something was to happen? What are you talking about? What are we talking about? We're talking about warranty? Who would part 4K and not get a warranty? Oh, you're talking about like buying a 5090 and not getting a warranty? Because he's got 2 years from us and whatever the manufacturer has as well. Yeah, I think it's 3 years on the motherboard, Hidden Bull. Crazy to think 5090 was too much at $2,000. I know. Crazy. Y'all thought I was crazy when I told you get your 5090 while you can. Get your 5080s, get your 5090s, get your 5070 Ti's. Look at the prices now. Enough to make a grown man cry. All right. Most people here wouldn't believe me when I say we're really close. We are. It's not going to take much here to finish this. Just a matter of finagling the cables the way we want them. This is exactly why I didn't route that cable yet. Might have to zip tie that. That's gonna move. Magnetic, so it'll stay. I just want to zip tie so it can't really move anywhere else. Right there. Downside is it's in the hard drive cage. So if you ever put a hard drive in the outermost bay, zip tie will be in the way. So make sure you cut that if you ever do that in the future. But with 8 terabytes of SSD, I don't think you're going to need a hard drive. Do 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 do. Ah, crap. Hmm. Okay. I think I'm happy with this situation here. We're as happy as it's gonna get. Right? Need a tie on that. Okay. That was done. I said. Let's see. All right. Okay. Almost there, boys. Wow. What a nightmare. Yeah. That's a lot of freaking wires. I know. I hope you never have to go back there, Logan. I tried to keep it nice, but might get a little disorientating. Oh, yeah. She's kind of heavy, not gonna lie. Probably should have kept that. Oh well. You ready? Are we ready to see this thing powered on for the first time? Gotta clean up some of this hardware real quick. Yeah, I just squealed like a girl. Okay. It's happening. Okay. Let's stop staring at that. I have no idea why that moved. Sorry. Okay, probably because I was sticking around. Okay. Are you ready? It's not booting. All right, Logan, let me know when you're ready. You gotta tell me when to punch this button. Waiting on Logan. Logan says ready. You gotta use a little bit more enthusiasm, Logan. Tell me to punch it like Chewbacca. Go for it. All right, that works. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Did I plug the RGB power in? Pretty sure I did. I plugged the RGB power in, right? I plugged 4 SATAs in, so that should be all the RGB. I think we're just waiting for the chipset to post motherboard. And then it should kick on the USB, which is going to kick on the RGB for the first time, so we're just waiting for a post. And it is 64 gigs of DDR5 RAM, so it might take a minute for it to post here. Generally, the bigger the kit, the longer the... Yeah, that was cool. Do it live, yeah. I hear something happening. Yeah, it's still going. It's still cycling memory training. So it's gonna take a minute. It's gonna be a minute. That thing can push some air, as you can see. A little curtain there is flapping away. Ah! Oh! 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 We got activity on the screen for a brief moment. We got keyboard light. Oh! New CPU installed. We posted. But I'm actually not sure why that hub isn't kicking on. Let me go take a peeky peek. We gotta take a peeky peek.
Now, what is going on down there?
Well, I see what the problem is with the fans. Please hold. Remember that USB cable I said kind of looked jacked up in the very beginning of the stream when we pulled the case out? That's the problem. But it's okay, we got another one here with another hub. No problemo. We're just gonna have to dig the other one out. Uno momento. Hey, there they are. We were looking for you, fans. There it is. Those are the fans we were looking for. Can you turn it a little bit? How would you like me to turn it? Oh. Like that? That looks so cool. I know, it's mesmerizing. You will require RGB tanning lotion. It is recommended when sitting next to it for a long period of time. If you don't get your RGB tanning lotion, you might have significant side effects. Just a recommendation, that's all. Yeah, it looks a little better now. I believe it. And you also might need sunglasses. There's specific RGB glasses we sell on our website. No, I'm just kidding, we don't. I'm not a good salesman. What if you want tan? Well, you could get a RGB tan. It just might be like a little purple here, like a little greenish here, blue up here. You know, it might be an uneven tan. That's the side effect I'm talking about. Yeah, the RGB cable on the graphics card is big, and it is blocking stuff. So if he wants me to change that out, he just got to let me know. I can even ship it once the purple and black cable for that we ordered from Cable Mod, actually specifically for this build, hasn't arrived yet. But if he wanted that, I could send it with the build. And if he wants to change it out, he could. If it's too much. Or if he wants me to change it out, I would. We would just have to wait for the cable to arrive. Thanks so much, Ben, for building it, Ben. Looks absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, outside of having to tidy up what I just did, and probably finagle and play with a couple things like the hoses on the top. I don't know if I'm a fan of that yet. Usually I like them running underneath on the other side of this. We're going to play with that. So we don't want the cables in the front. We want it in the back. I might even see if we can tie them up. I don't know yet. I'll play around with it till I am pleased myself, which I know then you'll be pleased. So it's not quite done, but we have it built. It's posted. Gotta fish that USB cable out of there. That's jacked up. I knew I should have just replaced it from the beginning. I looked at it, I'm like, it looks kind of funny. Yeah, the Infinity fans are pretty cool looking. And I'm glad we swapped out the fans for the cooler to unify the fans with the rest of the system. It really adds a nice touch to it. So, Logan, you entered another level. Yes, this is a whole nother level. This is best of the best, basically. You really can't get much better than this other than going up to 96 gigabytes of RAM instead of the 64, but for gaming, 64 is already overkill. 8 terabytes total, 2 4 terabyte SSDs. I mean, it's gonna be blazing fast. I don't think your internet will be able to keep up with the Gen 5 drive when you're downloading stuff. Plan on upgrading RAM? Okay, well, if you do upgrade the RAM, Logan, make sure you consult first before you go and buy, because DDR5 does not like 4 sticks. So if you're going to upgrade the RAM in the future, definitely buy the 2-stick. I think it's 48 gigs each. That totals out to 96. That's really the maximum that this platform will support, while also supporting the speeds. So you're replacing what's in there is basically what you're going to do. And that's just DDR5, unfortunately, and where it's at. It does not like 4 sticks. It likes 2 sticks, and 96 is really the top. There are some 128 gig stick kits that will work, but they're hit or miss. I've not had the best of experiences with them. Is he not seeing? I'm seeing it. It's huge rolling on the floor. Yes, that happened to me this weekend. I'm seeing your messages over there, Anarchist. I just haven't looked over there in a while. And Killa says, "You got this." Wow, that fit in there. That was from a while ago over on Kick. Sorry about that. You love the little screen on the card? Yeah, it's a nice touch. The Master, that's actually why I went Gigabyte motherboard, Gigabyte graphics card with the little screen. So you'll be able to use 2 or 3 different softwares total to control the entire system. You'll have the Gigabyte Control Center that'll manage the motherboard and any 5-volt addressable RGB header. And then you'll also manage the graphics card with the Gigabyte Control Center. And then you'll have the Trix software for the screen. And then the third software is going to be the Lian Li software, the L-Connect 3, for the fans. So you'll control the RGB from 3 different programs. But, you know, if we put an Asus ROG Strix card on a Gigabyte motherboard, we would have had 4 4 different programs to play with. And that gets messy. So we limited what we could with what we wanted in the system. One more strimmer in the top left. I don't even think they make the EPS cables for the CPU, do they? I don't think they do. And if they do, I mean, you're only seeing like an inch of it. I don't think it's worth it. Is it? I could get them if they exist, if you want me to put them in there. I just don't. I've just never installed them because it's almost silly to put them in because you see about an inch of it. I think another strimmer would lead to permanent eye damage. Yeah, these are really bright right now because they're set to white. So on the camera, they look a lot brighter than what they are. The camera is just overreacting to the lighting. It looks way more sharp in person, I promise. But right now, because they're set to white and we haven't got the Lian Li software installed, they're defaulting to their factory color, which is white. Once we get the Lian Li L-Connect 3 software installed, we'll be able to control that and adjust it. We can even turn the brightness down on these, which is a nice touch for all the Lian Li stuff in here. We can turn all the brightness down. So you can find like a really happy median. Also, I don't have the side panel glass on, so it's not, and that's slightly tinted. So there is a little bit of a tint that it has to go through the glass. So, and I don't have that on there right now because if I were to put that on there with the light, with the camera, it really does some weird stuff to my camera. So it doesn't like the glass on top of the lights. It's reflective. Ah, salesman talk. You're getting a husky mix puppy. And I ended up helping a guy fix his internet and his PC. Nice. Anarchist, nice. Went over to look at a puppy today. Ended up being a tech. Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. The more you look at it, the more you love it. I mean, it is the Titan. Have a good one, Sas. Sasuks. Say Sook Stronger something. The life of an IT, the life of an IT, yes. The life of an it. That card has, yeah, that card has. Again, congrats, Logan. Happy for you. Welcome to the club, buddy. I'm ahead now. And sadly, I'm working tomorrow. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, man, the whole time. And thank you for the gifted sub. Oh, hitting Anarchist. Nice. That's actually a good one. Cryptics. Yo, what's up, man? Welcome back to the build show, sir. Yo, Ben, a German dude offered to buy my Alienware case, but backed out when I said the UPS shipping charge was $1,600. Yeah, he was probably going to ask you to get it for free, ship it for free. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's shipping something overseas is just not worth it, in my opinion. Canada's different as long as the customer knows they're paying tariffs at the border, because I'm not dealing with it. But it's not really going in the pond. It's just staying on a truck and crossing a border, or maybe in a plane. I don't know. Thanks again. It was fun. Very exciting. Thank you, everybody. You're welcome, Logan. Yeah, don't go through the hassle, Cryptics. Yeah. Great job. Looks nice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it only took us 3.5 hours to get it done. We still have some finagling to do, but there's the Titan. It has been created, born. You witnessed the birth of a Titan. All right, so next up is doing the finagling that I keep talking about. We'll get this right, and then we'll obviously have to install Windows, do the BIOS updates, do the XMP, make sure secure boot's enabled, make sure all the drives are good to go, then start the battle testing phase, and also all the software for all the hardware that's in here. And once battle testing phase is completed, we are good to go. So it might be a couple days before we start talking about shipping, but because there is a process to certifying this PC as battle tested, and it does take a bit. 24 hours is 1 day of battle testing, and that is multiple tests: CPU, GPU, read writes on the SSDs, your RAM testing, and then cooling / performance checking for the throttle of the thermal, and then what else? I mean, if there's any issues, then it delays us as well, because then we gotta swap parts and et cetera. But it's well worth the wait, because then when you receive it, you know it's good to go. So, no surprises. Logan, Ben will deliver it to you in ready-to-go condition. You're gonna be set. Yes. Was that a question? Behemoth, yes. Just sign in and go. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Logan must name it first. Arise! Yes. Arise, Behemoth! It's a good name. Call it. Logan, you make 5090s proud. Yes, it was it's a proper system for a 5090, I'd say. Proper. Alright, guys. That's it for me for tonight. I am cooked after 3.5 hours of standing here building a Titan. About all I can handle. So, here we go, guys. I hope everybody has a good Friday night. I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. If anybody does have any questions or does want to hang out ever in the future, you're more than welcome to join the Discord channel simply by typing in !Discord in the chat, and that'll spit out the Discord link. Join up there. We play games, we answer questions, we talk about hardware and stuff, and all sorts of cool stuff there. It's also the best place to receive updates from me regarding build streams and build shows and other events and activities and things that I'm working on, including projects. So if anybody's interested in following there, it's the best place to do it. Get the most current information, and hope to see you guys over there. And thanks again for joining us. Have a good Friday. Logan, congratulations. We'll be talking to you soon about the shipping. You'll have all that information here in the next few days. And then your Titan will be on the way. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you on the next one. The next one's also going to be a really cool one. Very similar to this build, but with a little bit of a custom touch by yours truly. Have a good night, guys.